with the defense cross-examination. So far, prosecutors have called several witnesses as they lay out their case against Murdaugh. The opening week featured graphic and revealing accounts from the first responders to the shootings of Maggie and Paul Murdaugh, as well as information that appeared to contradict what Alex Murdaugh had told investigators.
Neither Paul nor Maggie had any defensive wounds. And the evidence is also going to show that both Maggie and Paul were shot at extremely close range. Did you ever see any tears in your interactions with Mr. Murdaugh?
He did not appear to be crying. He was upset, but I did not see any visible tears.
I knew something was bad. I ran out. And it was really bad. My boy over there, I could see. And we had a wonderful marriage, wonderful relationship.
Was yours and Paul's relationship?
As good as it could be.
Senior correspondent Laura Engel is live with more on the trial so far and what we can expect this coming week. Laura.
Hi, Arthel. You know, most of what we learned in the first week of testimony was about the evidence in this case, who collected it, where it was sent, and how it was processed. Alec Murdaugh, who has been charged with the brutal shooting deaths of his wife Maggie and their 22-year-old son Paul on the family's hunting estate in South Carolina, told arriving officers he believed the murders could be connected to a deadly boating accident, which his son Paul was involved in, telling officers his son had received many threats after a friend of his was killed in that crash. Maggie and Paul Murdaugh were both shot at close range, leaving a bloody crime scene behind. When Alec Murdaugh was questioned by law enforcement that night, officers noticed there was no visible blood on his hands, arms, and his white T-shirt, even though he told investigators that he had touched their bodies to check them when he arrived. A detective told jurors last week about the victims' devastating injuries.
And then the first body that I approached was the deceased male. He was laying face down at an angle with his feet inside the plane of the door. There was obvious trauma to the top of his head. He was covered with a sheet, but I could still see the top of his head from underneath the sheet. Obvious trauma.
And prosecutors have suggested that Murdaugh may have killed his wife and son to distract attention away from his ongoing legal and financial problems to gain sympathy and slow down the attention of the 98 criminal charges against him. Murdaugh's surviving son, Buster, has been present at the courthouse during testimony and is expected to be called as a witness. When asked by the Daily Mail back in November if he would be supporting his father, he answered that he doesn't want to see it written anywhere that he is supporting his father. Tomorrow's session will begin with the cross-examination of one of the investigators. Alec Murdaugh has pled not guilty. He faces 30 years to life if convicted. Arthel?
Please subscribe. Thank you for watching.
We'll be looking forward to your reports. Laura Engel, thank you.
See you later with another video.